Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Finn Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Marino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tuned in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Finn Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Finn Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best.
What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Posse Podcast. I am your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everybody doing? Good morning. Another wild week of football. And breaking news for the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, Chris Greer was fired. They agreed to mutually part ways. But breaking news, the Miami Dolphins are making moves before the trade deadline tomorrow. Jalen Phillips, I got some mixed feelings on this, folks. Jalen Phillips traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a third-round draft pick. Jalen Phillips, listen, he's been getting pressure on the quarterback this year, just not able to finish. He had another missed sack this week against the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. He obviously cost us in the game against the Chargers, where he could have sacked Justin Herbert and we could have won that football game. Man, oh man, Jalen Phillips traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, which isn't really a surprise to me. Vic Fangio really liked Jalen Phillips when he was the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. Jalen Phillips on the last year of his deal. Were we going to re-sign him? Chances were against it. Jalen Phillips has been a letdown as far as a first-round draft pick is concerned, in my opinion. Jalen Phillips never's had 10 sacks in a season. He hasn't finished the last two seasons due to major injury. Yeah. Jalen Phillips no more. He's doing a new contract. But hey, listen, maybe Jalen Phillips plays the rest of the year for the Philadelphia Eagles, and then he comes and takes a hometown discount to return to the Miami Dolphins after the season. Maybe this is just a little vacation for him. But how do you feel? How do you feel about this move? I'll be right back. Hold on 1 second. Are you happy with the trade? Who wants to come on and talk real quick? I want to hear your opinions. I'm going to throw the link out there. All right. 1 second. 1 second. Sorry about this, folks. All right, no more interruptions. Do you love the move? Do you hate the move? What is your opinion on this move? And what's next for the Miami Dolphins? What's next? Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Bradley Chubb. A lot of talk about Jalen Waddle. I'm hearing they don't want to move on from Jalen Waddle, but they'll listen. They're willing to listen. When Chris Greer was general manager, they weren't taking phone calls on Jalen Waddle, and obviously, I understand why. Chris Greer's job depended on whether the Miami Dolphins were successful this year. So you're not going to go and trade Jalen Waddle, especially after the injury to Tyreek. But now that Chris Greer has been replaced and he's not out for self-preservation, anything is possible. All windows are open. The Miami Dolphins are willing to move on from Jalen Waddle, but the price has got to be right. And I'm hearing it's got to be at least a first-round pick. And this is the perfect time to get the most for Jalen Waddle since Tyreek's not there and Jalen Waddle is our clear-cut number one receiver. He's going to put up better stats since Tyreek Hill's not there. He's going to look more impressive as a number one receiver without Tyreek Hill there. I mean, I think the Philadelphia Eagles, we got some guys, Mitch, Eagles Uncensored, some guys in here that are Eagles fans. I think this is a good move for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that you're going to see Jalen Phillips really eat in their defense. Vic Fangio knows how to use Jalen Phillips. He was having his best year of his career under Vic Fangio until the injury. He's having the best year of his career. Now, the problem this year is not him getting to the quarterback. It's him finishing the play. It's him finishing the play. I think he does that with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he is a major asset for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are obviously loading up for a Super Bowl run. They made the trade for Jair Alexander, now Jalen Phillips. Who knows? Maybe they're not done yet. But I think it's a great move for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't hate the move for the Miami Dolphins. Am I sad about Jalen Phillips? Yeah, he was one of my favorite Dolphins. He was definitely one of my favorite Dolphins, but it was the writing on the wall. It was the last year of his contract. He was going to probably want a huge contract. You know, do you re-sign? Do you give that type of money to a defensive player that has never registered 10 sacks in a season, that has missed the last 2 years due to injury concern or injuries, major injuries to his knees? Do you give major money to that type of player? Again, I'm sad that he's gone. I really am. But at the same time, I didn't think we would get a third-round pick for him. I thought the best we'd do for Jalen Phillips would be a fourth. I thought the best we'd get for Jalen Phillips was a fourth. So the fact that we were able to muster a third, listen, all the draft capital that we can possibly get, hopefully we hire a competent general manager that is good at scouting players, and we can turn that 3rd round pick into a starter for this new Miami Dolphins football team that we're trying to build. But the link is out there. I want to hear your opinions on this trade, whether you love it, you hate it, and what other moves you think the Miami Dolphins should be pursuing this season. What other moves would you like to see the Miami Dolphins make this year? And do you hate the trade? Do you love the trade? What's your opinions on the Jalen Phillips trade? What is my surprise trade? I would be surprised if we traded Devon Achane, but I wouldn't put it past the Miami Dolphins at this point. It's a 3rd that'll be at the end of the 3rd. Yeah, Glenn, I would have liked to got the 3rd that they have from the Jets, because that would have been the top of the 3rd round. But I mean, yeah, it's the end of the 3rd, but I thought we'd get a 4th. You know what I mean? And if it was going to be a 4th round pick, it was going to be at the end of the 4th, because only a good team's going to trade for a player at the trade deadline. So whatever pick you were going to get for any of these players is going to be a late round pick, because a playoff team is trying to trade for all these guys. Zach Wilson to Washington. Is that's a move that's been made, or you're predicting that move? Getting a 3rd round pick is awesome. 3rd round picks usually end up as starters. Well, hopefully with our new general manager, they will be. 3rd round picks for the Miami Dolphins don't typically end up as starters, or they do, but they're not very good players. Again, I feel I'm split on this. I'm split on this. I have torn feelings on this move. Again, I'm a Jalen Phillips fan. He was playing pretty good football this year. Yeah, was he not finishing? Yeah, and that's tough. That was tough.
Hey, Big C. Hey, Big C, what's up?
What's up? What do you think about the trade?
I just found out about it, but I didn't see the information. What did we get for him?
A 3rd rounder.
Next year or this year?
Next. Oh, 26.
Okay. Oh, okay. I like the trade. I thought we were going to get less for Jalen Phillips because of his injury history and stuff like that.
Me too. Me too. What up, Only the Real Survive?
What up? What up?
Who do you guys think is next? Is it Bradley Chubb, Jalen Waddle? Who do you think we trade next?
That was a good trade, and it depends on which team is in need of a weapon right now. Because if we let Achane go to a team that is in need of, say, like maybe
Seattle wants him.
Seattle might do. They're not having stellar play at the quarterback position right now. I would see if the Saints would take him. They're not having stellar play at the running back position right now. Or at least Alvin Kamara is like down on it. You know what I mean? Like, I think he would work good over there, like if they could work that out, because the Saints, what's their record right now?
Oh, they can't have more than 2 wins.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? That could be a damn good draft pick that we could potentially get for Achane if we.
But are we gonna? This is a question. Are we gonna trade him to a contender or a team that's rebuilding? Because I think Achane would want to compete for a player.
Look. No disrespect, Anthony, but I don't give a damn what Achane want right now. That's what not. This is not about that. This is not what the player wants. Fuck that. They had a chance to goddamn do what they needed to do when they was here. So right now, it's just up to the general manager and how he's going to orchestrate it. I don't care where he want to go. You going to go where I'm going to get the most out of your ass. That's what we going to do. You didn't want to give me the most on the field, so I'm going to get the most out of your ass come trade time. No
Well, I mean,
disrespect, Anthony.
well, I feel like Achan has been a good player for us, though. You know what I mean? So
I feel you. You are correct. I'm not disagreeing with that. But who gives us like that's what got us in this situation from the jump. Worried about their feelings. Fuck it.
yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
No disrespect.
Yeah, no, but you understand where I'm coming from.
Nah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. But you know what I'm saying? Did you think Mika wanted to come back here from the Steelers? Think about it. Do you really think Mika wanted to come back here with the way everything is playing out right now?
We gave them what the best offer that no other team could.
Right. So therefore, the Steelers did not give a fuck where Minka wanted to go. They took the best of the best trade scenario for the team, the organization.
Do you guys agree with some of our fans that we only trade A-Chain or Waddle for a first-round pick?
No. You gotta salvage whatever you can out of these players, in my opinion.
And I've said this, that's one criticism I've had with Greer, that he holds on to players way too long and he craters their trade value. Like, instead of trading them at this is what happened with what's his name, the corner who just retired, who played for us.
Who?
Xavier Howard.
Oh Xavier. Yeah.
We should have traded him when he was at the height of his powers instead of waiting until he got injured and let him walk for nothing. Like, do you guys agree with me? Greer tends to hold on to players way too long.
Being that Greer gone now, so we ain't even got to worry about that. But that tends to be the movement of this organization. We either get rid of a player too early, like we did Wes Welker, we got rid of him too early, or we get rid of a player too late, like we did Xavier Howard. Get rid of him too late. Like, we don't know when to capitalize because this organization thinks that. I mean, I don't mean to say this like they don't help, because they do help. But when you don't have a team built from the foundation up correctly, star players like that, you're not going to get nothing out of them. Like, what good did Xavier Howard do here? We wasn't winning with nothing with him. Them 10 interceptions in what? A season or two?
Yeah.
See, I don't think we settle for anything less than what we think we should get for HN and Waddle, just because they are super young. You know what I mean? These aren't guys that are 28, 29 that, chances are they're not going to be able to help us with the rebuild. They're still super young. They can help us with the rebuild. So I wouldn't be mad to hold out on a first-round draft pick for Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, but you got to think about the time limit. Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. You got to think about the time limit too, because what if you come across the best trade scenario that you're going to get for him, but you miss it because you're trying to hold out for that first round draft pick, which, to be honest, neither one of them is putting up the numbers like they was a first round pick. If that was the case, we wouldn't really be worried about trading them right now.
Yeah, no, Waddle has been productive for it.
Right, but that's only because Tyreek Hill has been here to open up the field for him. Okay. Like, understand what that means right now. Team has not really game planned for Waddle without Hill.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, if Waddle can show that he can handle the load with teams game planning for him specifically, then of course, yes, like, he has the numbers.
Yeah, and I was the team that's constantly being brought up for Waddle because they lost their receiver for the season is the Giants. I think the Giants will, depending on where the Giants are picking, if they give us their first round pick, we're going to be maybe having 2 top 15 picks.
That's if the Giants want to do that. Now think about it, because, Jackson Dart is really proving that he can win with almost subpar receivers right now.
Yeah. But he would do better with like a Waddle. That's
He would. But with the team, would you be able to build around him? See, that's the thing that y'all missing. Building around these players. You know, you can go get a prolific receiver for him, but instead of going to get a prolific receiver, why don't you just go ahead and get these three probably offensive linemen that you need that will probably back up what you get and will keep the train rolling. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what Miami does, and that's what got us in the situation a lot.
yeah.
There's no way that the Giants trade for Jalen Waddle, just for the simple fact that the Giants aren't going to the playoffs this year, right? So they can just hold on to that. The only reason you give up a first round draft pick for Waddle is if you think you can make a run this year. Because
I agree with that.
The Giants could very easily hang on to their top 15 pick next year and get a wide receiver just as talented, if not more talented than Jalen Waddle without the big bag that Jalen Waddle has.
Yeah, no, and how about do the Cowboys need a receiver?
No, not really. I mean, the Cowboys aren't going anywhere either. They got defensive issues.
Aren't they like ranked number one or two in the NFC? I thought.
At what?
No.
Yeah, but they still. I mean, they still ain't coming out without no defense though. Yeah. Like I don't care what you say. You saw what just happened. Yeah, you just saw what happened in Denver. Like they supposed to be putting up. Like when you know your defense is going to be weak throughout the year, you base your games off of putting up points. And you know Denver just turns around and outscored them by what 20 points.
Yeah, they demolished their defense, and I don't even think
Denver's got an explosive offense. And this is why, honestly, like I don't understand. For me, the tie. The other rumor is the Chargers want to trade for Waddle too, but they need defense more than they do offense, to be honest.
Yeah, but still, like I just said, when you know your defense is going to be subpar, a lot of teams is focusing on putting up points instead of stopping teams. You know what I'm saying? And you know, some teams is in a position to do that. Like, you know, the Chargers, they are in a position to do that. You know, put up points.
This is an honest question. Do the Bucks need a receiver?
Nah, I wouldn't do it if I was them.
Well, what teams you guys?
They just drafted a young wide receiver. They just drafted a young wide receiver.
Oh, Donnie Mitchell?
I don't think anybody gives up a first round for Waddle. I mean, I'm not mad at the asking price. I wouldn't settle if I'm the Dolphins. I don't settle for anything less than. I need to be able to get a player of Waddle's caliber in return. So I need at least a second round pick for Waddle. He's still young. He's talented. Do I think he's a top notch number one receiver? No. So I'm not expecting a first round draft pick, but I need at least a second back for him.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no. I mean, it don't matter to me,
guys. Is there any contending teams that need a receiver? That's the question. Like all the teams we're talking about are like almost rebuilding teams to an extent and stuff like that.
I think the Buffalo Bills could use one. I think the Chiefs could use another one. I mean, you could always use another.
You really want to give Patrick Mahomes a weapon to destroy other teams?
I mean, listen, it's about what we get in return. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the major thing right there. We can't look at what teams or nothing like that because, that Waddle to Buffalo, whoa.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I mean,
how about Waddle to the Patriots?
That's another one. I mean, even Denver. You know what I mean? There's teams out there that could use a player of Waddle's caliber, you know what I mean?
But you don't think? Do you think fans are unrealistic in asking for a first round pick for Waddle?
Well, I mean, it's not the fans asking. That's what was put out there. You know, of course you're going to ask for more than what you think, and then you meet somewhere in the middle, right?
Right. That's what you do. You always got to set the price high.
If you ask for
that's what I'm saying. Do you think the franchise is unrealistic? Because I like Waddle, but he's not a Tyree. This is an honest question. on my honest opinion. He's not a Justin Jefferson. He is not an Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like Waddle, but he is not at that level to
Well, that's why
justify
we know
asking
we're
for a
not
first
getting.
round
That's
pick.
why we know we're not getting a first round pick. But it's like anything in life, you know. If you know you got something that's worth $500, you're going to ask 700 because you know the person that wants to buy it's going to lowball you. You know what I mean? And then you negotiate. So I want to, I want a first. You want to give me a third? All right, we'll meet in the middle at a second. You know what I mean?
Do you think we can get anything good for Mika? Realistically,
I mean, I don't
like a
know how that
third or a fourth?
I mean, I think Mika's a decent enough player. I don't know how the contracts work and stuff. But Anthony, I gotta let Glenn get on here, so I'll
Okay.
holler at you. Thank you, brother. Glenn,
Hey, first of
sorry,
all,
brother.
I,
Thank you
no,
for being
no,
patient.
no. I mean, trading Phillips for a third. Everybody says, "Oh, that's great, that's good." But you know, if we just kept on to him and let him go at the, well, if now Philly holds on to him and lets him go at the end of this year, they're going to get a third or fourth back next year for him.
Yeah, but with that pick you're talking about, wouldn't that be a compensatory pick or compensatory pick or
That's
something
right.
like that?
It's
But
a comp.
right. But what if he get hurt? They don't get nothing, right?
That's why I said he'd get a third or a fourth for him,
But
or a fourth.
but isn't the reports if they get hurt we don't get nothing or they don't get nothing?
No, no. They still get something. It'd just be a fourth round.
But you don't know where it'll be though, right?
You don't know where it's going to be. You're right. That's
Right.
where you don't know.
Okay, so why would you? I mean, that's the thing though. Why would you want to sit here and hope for the unknown when you
Yeah,
can solidify what you getting right now?
What up,
because
AK?
do we need to build for
What's
this
up, bud?
year, or build up, or I just think you could have held on and looked to get a pickup stuff for 27. We're not going to be good next year either. We still be
I
getting over to his contract. We'll still be fighting. We're going to actually be worse next year than we are this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. We are.
Let's get
So
it. Let's get it. We got an Eagles guy in the building. Let's get his point of view with this trade. What up, AK?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
All right, yourself?
How's everybody up here doing? Glenn,
We're good. We're good. We're good.
how you guys
Good.
doing? No, man. Listen, I first and foremost, I appreciate you guys because I damn sure didn't want to give up 3 firsts for Miles Garrett. You know, uh,
Oh yeah.
damn sure didn't want to go and get Trey. You know, even though Trey's a beast, his age, it would only be good for us for like 2, 3 years. Uh, I don't mind giving a third for Phillips. It helps us and you. You know, because I was in dire need of an edge rusher, and you guys need picks right now for your rebuild. So, nah, man, I'm just glad we could get something done. You guys don't seem like you feel fleeced. I don't feel like I fleeced you. I feel it was a pretty even trade. So, I just hope it works out for both of us, man.
Mm.
Hey, isn't this the same
Level-headed
way?
guy. Level-headed guy. I like that. I like that.
Oh, dude,
Hey,
everyone on YouTube will tell you I'm the most respected Eagles fan on here, bro. I don't have grief with people. I talk common sense, bro.
ain't this the second pick that they picked up
Yes, sir.
for a
Yes, sir.
defensive?
Yeah, we just got
Like they
Jair
picked one up from
Alexander
New
on
England?
Saturday. No, we
Yeah.
got Jair Alexander on Saturday from Baltimore.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, y'all willing and dealing, ain't y'all?
Hey, man, you know what? Howie's a beast, man. You know, I don't know how the man does it. I don't know how he wheeling deals like that, but I listen. All I can say, man, is I know a lot of people don't like us lately because we win, but I have been saying it. Y'all's GMs need to like start taking like Howie Roseman classes or something, man. Uh, I don't know how the man does it, but he can wheel and deal. He can draft. He can do contracts. I'm just lucky to have a GM like that, man.
Well, we just let our GM go, so we ain't worried about
Yeah,
his ass.
Yeah, I know. I know. No, but I'm interested to see how you guys rebuild. Honestly, I told Big C this back a few weeks ago in the chat here. Um, I've always, secretly kind of like Miami, just truly just because of your Kellers. You know, they're
Facts,
awesome as
facts.
shit, truly. Um, but I really think Doug Peterson would be really good for you guys as the head coach, and I'm not talking as in the win perspective. I'm talking about the rebuild and the camaraderie that he can build inside of a locker room, connectivity, connection. You know what I mean? And it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
feels like lately you guys have fallen out of reach with that, over your last few coaches. So I don't know, man. I just feel like you guys need more of like a player coach this time, someone who understands players more, who can relate, who can understand how they look at a game and see it. You know what I mean? So
Well,
I don't know. I'd go
we
for
had a
something
players
like that.
coach to the extreme.
What's that?
We just had a players coach to the extreme. He was too much of
Who,
a players
McDaniels?
coach. Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't call him a players coach, but
He let them players do whatever they want. He just
I know
he
he's a brilliant mind when it comes to offensive play calling. Listen, I'm a firm believer there are certain people who are meant to be head coaches, and there are certain people who are just meant to be OCs. The ball is only supposed to be an OC, and I truly believe that McDaniels, he's one hell of an OC, but he's just not meant to be a head coach. Some men are supposed to be leaders of men, others are just supposed to follow, and that's all right, man.
yeah, I think Mike McDaniel will get another opportunity someday, and he'll be a better
Sure.
head coach. Uh, yeah, I think it's a great move for Philadelphia. I think we should be investigating Philly's front office for our next general manager. See if there's a possible player or a person up there that works with Howie firsthand and is responsible for some of the team building that you guys have been able to do and bring him into our organization. I think that's where you find the good general managers is people that have worked in first class organizations.
No, and in all honesty, man, I see Anthony asked me here about Alec, our assistant GM. Hey, now I will say this: we did send our last guy over to the Jets, and you saw how that worked out. Or wait, was it the Giants? It was one of the New York teams, and we sent him over there. It didn't work out that great. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it'll work if you take Alec as your new GM because and not everyone's Howie, but I will say being able to work under him and understand how he does things, yeah, it could possibly be a good move, but I can't guarantee you Howie Roseman for you guys, even if you get him, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, it can't be just someone that works in the building. It's got to be someone
Yeah.
that is responsible for some aspect of why you're where you're at. You know what I mean? Obviously, Howie Roseman can't do everything by himself. Is he the one that, is mainly responsible? Yes, but there's got to be guys that are doing things in that building and are a key factor in the reason that Howie Roseman is so successful. You know what I mean? It can't just
Oh,
be a guy
yeah.
that is part of the group and he gets credit because he's vice president of this or assistant that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, listen, they all deserve credit. From our scouting department to our managing department to, I mean, hell, to just the lowest guy in the totem pole, man. As far as I know, Howie does get a lot of input. He gets a lot of input from his head coaches. He gets a lot of input from his OC, his DC, his training people, the assistant coaches. Like Vic was the main reason we came and got Phillips from you guys because he really liked Phillips and how he played for your scheme whenever Vic was here. And that is the main reason why we pulled him from you guys and made that trade. But he wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for Vic being in his ear. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
he
yeah.
does take a very good accountability to his coworkers, and he does listen very well to what they have to say.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, Philly looks like they're getting ready to make another run. I think they're one of the favorites out there. Obviously the way that Detroit played yesterday like has me dumbfounded. I can't believe they lost to Minnesota at home. I think your only real competition over there, the Bucks are a tough team. You got the Rams and then, Seattle and Detroit. Green Bay looks like they're a disaster. Like they're so inconsistent. So Philly got a real chance to definitely
Repeat,
go
yeah.
back to back.
No, I sit here every day, every weekend, man, and I'm scratching my head on Detroit and Green Bay, and I'll be in Lambeau this weekend, watching the Eagles Green Bay game, and I don't know what to expect. I don't know if I'm going to get the good Green Bay Packers or the shitty ones that lose to the Browns and the Panthers. You know what I mean? Like there, that's kind of what I love about this year is you can't actually look at a team, any team in the NFL right now, and pinpoint and look and say they're the ones. You know what I mean? It seems like playoff teams who are playoff teams, everyone's kind of even and at a even keel, and then you just know who else sucks. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't like it because my pockets are taking a hit on FanDuel. I'll tell you that
Oh,
much.
I know, right?
And yeah,
Did
I'm
you
betting
lose
on
from
three
the
games.
Packers yesterday? Did you take a
Oh
loss on that
yeah,
one?
hell
Yeah,
yeah! I bet $200 on a 4-leg parlay with the
right.
Packers. Two of the teams lost. I had the Packers in Detroit. I thought Detroit
Yeah,
would
right.
handle Minnesota at home. You know what I mean? So I lost $200 just on that bet alone. I was like,
Well, I'm
damn,
sorry to hear
Jesus.
that, man. But yeah, no, you know what I'm saying then. It's really hard to pinpoint teams right now, dude, because one week they look really good and then the next week they're real shitty. And I don't know. I don't know.
Well, KC, a perfect example of, Buffalo beats KC last night, and they've looked
Mhm.
bad at times. You know, Carolina beating Green Bay yesterday, and then the
Yep.
week before that, they lose by 30 some points to the Patriots. It's just
Yeah.
an absolute cluster disaster of you just don't know who's the serious contenders are this year.
No, no, you don't. And I don't really look too much into that Bills KC game last night because Allen's undefeated against Pat in regular season. He is undefeated in losses in postseason. So the way I look at it for Pat is he doesn't care that he lost last night because he
Oh
knows come
no.
playoffs time, whenever he meets Josh in the championship or divisional, his ass is toast, is what it is.
I want to say the Patriots are contenders. Patriots are having a nice little run right now, but they've played the right teams. Yeah, they beat Buffalo, but Buffalo's defense ain't very good right now.
No, they're not.
So I mean, I
Even
want to
though
say
they
the
looked
Patriots.
good last night.
I mean, you had Indy losing to the Steelers. Who knows what the Steelers
Oh,
truly
can I
are?
get my flowers real quick, Big C, on that? You were there yesterday. I was the only one in that damn room that said that. Come on.
What,
I
that
was all
Pittsburgh
for
was going to be
Pittsburgh.
Indy?
Yeah.
I said,
I was.
I picked Pittsburgh.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear that one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
then me
I
and you
picked
both
Pittsburgh.
deserve our flowers because everyone
Yeah,
was against that shit. I was like, come on, man. DJ hasn't beat anyone. He literally beat the Chargers, who are off and on, and the only team that they lost to were the Rams, and they're actually a legitimate playoff team.
yeah.
And now
When we were
Pittsburgh's
doing the
coming
picks with
in.
Mitch, I picked the Steelers.
Yeah. And now with Pittsburgh coming in, they're kind of like how we were at the beginning of the year. They're still trying to figure out their defense, which is really weird, but they are. And you saw it yesterday, man. They were dominant. Fucking dominant.
Yep, yep. All right, I appreciate you, AK.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Have a good one.
You too. So again, Finn fans, do you love the trade? You hate the trade? I'm not mad at a third rounder. And hey, listen, yeah, you can get some comp picks. We could have kept him till the end of the year and maybe got a comp pick, but I don't like to rely on the comp picks because then you have to be very careful. You can't really sign anybody in the first stages of free agency. That was a Chris Greer special that he didn't want to go out and sign people in free agency right away because he didn't want to mess up his comp picks. But then you miss out on all the key free agents. You miss out on all the best free agents. And do I think we should be signing a bunch of free agents next year? No, but at the same time, I don't want to rely on comp picks. Listen, you trade Jalen Phillips away for a third round pick. If you really want Jalen Phillips here, go out and sign him. He's going to be a free agent. Chances are the Eagles are going to have their own free agents that they're going to have to sign, wine and dine sign. I don't think this is necessarily a long-term move for the Philadelphia Eagles. They got a lot of young players that are going to be coming up for contracts and stuff. I think this is just a strictly Let's try to get to the Super Bowl this year for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think Jalen Phillips is going to be available at the end of the year. If you really want him, bring him back. Go out and bring him back. Now maybe Phillips is pissed that we traded him. But why would you be pissed? Give me a chance to go win a Super Bowl championship, and then you get to come home to Miami. So I'd be super pumped about that. Listen, we got a 3rd round pick. You get to come back, help build the team again. You know what I mean? We give you a contract. I'd be super pumped. I'd be super pumped. But yeah, who's next? Who's next? Is Jalen Waddle going to be traded? I don't think anybody gives up a 1st round pick for Jalen Waddle. Does someone give us a second? Do we take the second? Jalen Waddle's still super young, but Jalen Waddle gets paid quite a bit of money. Are you comfortable with Jalen Waddle being our star receiver, our number 1 receiver? Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb isn't going to be here next year. So if you can move on from Bradley Chubb, I think you do. Now, another thing that the Jalen Phillips trade does is it opens up the door for Chop Robinson to get some more snaps. Chop has not played to the level that I thought. I'm not going to put words in people's mouths. He hasn't played to the level that I thought he would play at this year. But his snaps have been very limited. There's too many mouths to feed on that defense. You know, with Matthew Judon, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. Willie Gay's not getting no burn. I'd love to see Willie Gay get some burn. I think Willie Gay is a super high energy guy that when he's on the field, he makes plays. And the fact that we're not getting him on the field is a disservice. No, Mo Kamara's gone. So what do we do? See if you can't get all the draft picks you can. I'm not a big salary cap guy. It's very hard to understand the NFL salary cap, what you're allowed to do, what you can't do. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share, hit your notifications, do all that fun stuff for me. Help me out, help me grow. But Fitzpatrick is not happy about being here. I'm glad that we were able to get a player of Fitzpatrick's magnitude in that Jalen Ramsey trade, because I didn't think we was going to get that. I didn't think we was going to get that type of value whatsoever. I don't think this is the same Fitzpatrick from 3-4 years ago, but he's still a very solid player, still a very good player. But he just rubs me the wrong way. I don't feel like he wants to be here. If you're able to move him without the salary cap ramifications being great or crazy, maybe you can get a 3rd, 4th for Minka. If you can get a 5th, 6th round for Judon, if you can get a 4th, 5th round for Bradley Chubb. Now, Bradley Chubb's been more productive than Jalen Phillips has. Can we get a 3rd for Bradley Chubb too? Can we get a 3rd for Bradley Chubb? I think we already had 2 3rd rounders next year before the Phillips trade. That would give us 3. I could be wrong though. That would give us 3. If we could get Chubb off, that'd be 4 3rd round picks we have. Eagles Uncensored, man. I want to get rid of Waddle. You're going to need a wide receiver who is actually pretty decent when you bring in a rookie quarterback next year. You'll want a wide receiver to develop him. Waddle's contract is very team friendly. No reason to trade him unless we get a 1st for him. I think most of our trades will happen during the off season. And maybe Timothy, maybe most of our trades do happen during the offseason, but this is the time where you'll get people to pay more for less, because teams are desperate. Teams are desperate to add pieces to their teams to make a playoff run, to make a Super Bowl run. So a lot of moves will still be made. We're going to talk about who I think we should hire as the next head football coach of the Miami Dolphins tomorrow. A name that may surprise you. I've seen a couple people throw it out there in the chat. A name that might surprise you, but it doesn't. I think he'd be a fantastic coach. Some of you might not agree, but I think he could be the right guy for the job. But there's a couple names out there that I'm very interested in seeing what they could do as the Miami Dolphins' next head coach. But do not ding 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 ding. Timothy, you have a winner. Don't be surprised though if at the start of the 2026 season, if Mike McDaniel's still the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Do not be surprised. Do not be surprised if Mike McDaniel is the head coach going into the 2026 season. Mike McDaniel, first off, Stephen Ross loves Mike McDaniel. He believes in him. He trusts in him. And if Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the quarterback in 2026, who else are you going to bring in to work with Tua Tagovailoa? There's no one else that you would want to work with Tua in his final season here rather than Mike McDaniel. And the fact that you got Tua here, and if Tua's here, Tua's the starter. But no coach is going to want to come in and have their name tied to Tua Tagovailoa. So you're going to be very limited in your coaching prospects anyway. So I think I personally, and a lot of people are not going to agree. This is just my feeling. If you got to have Tua here next year, you might as well bring Mike McDaniel back. You might as well. Listen, no matter whatever way you want to paint this picture, we're probably not going to be a good football team next year. We're probably not going to be a good football team next year. So I'm not going to be crazy upset if Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa are the coach and quarterback here next year. Because I think if we can hire a competent GM, be like, listen, all right, we got Tua under contract, huge contract. It kills us to trade him. We bring Mike back. You guys evaluate him. You go into this draft. You draft best player available. You try to rebuild the team with the young nucleus that you got here with Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, Jonah, Achan, the key young pieces that we have here. You go into next year's draft, you just draft best players available, fill positions in need. And then in 2027, Tua comes off. You can fire McDaniel. You can get a new head coach. You can go into next year's draft for quarterbacks. Doesn't look great. I mean, there's a lot of prospects in the next year's draft as far as quarterbacks, but so far this year, no one's jumped off the pages to me. Mendoza has looked good, but are you comfortable really giving up a top 5 pick on Mendoza? You that confident in him? So in 2027, you can move on. You can move on from Tua. You can move on from McDaniel. You'll have a boatload of salary cap. You'll already have 2 drafts behind you where we've started the rebuild on this team. You go into 27. You have your 3rd draft at building this team. You got a bunch of salary cap. You select your next quarterback. And we should be moving in the right direction. It should be a very promising job for a top head coach to want to take. We should be the most promising job in the NFL. Of every coach that is going to be every coaching candidate that's going to be available in 2027, I would think that the Miami Dolphins would be the most attractive job. if we go about things that way. Octane, making Tua a backup, I mean, you're going to be so scrapped for salary anyway that you're not going to be able to build a team around him. You're not going to be able to build a team around your bad quarterback, your young quarterback. You can't truly get this team moving in the right direction until you can get Tua's contract off the books. It's just too much. It's too big of a contract. It's just too big. Keep Achane. He's a great number one player on team. And I love Achane. I think Achane can be a superstar in the NFL. If you give him a really good offensive line, man, oh man. Man, oh man. I'll tell you what. If you give Devon Achane the offensive line of, I don't know who's got the best offensive line in football right now. Detroit, maybe. Give him the offensive line of Detroit, the Eagles. Devon Achane will have you 1,600 yards. I truly believe it. Achane is a superstar. We can't block for him. We can't block for him. If James Daniels ever gets back, Austin Jackson ever plays decent football, and Jonah continues to get better, Achane is a superstar, folks. Superstar. Buffalo team to beat in the AFC. I don't know about that, folks. I think Baltimore is going to come back with a vengeance. I really do. Please hit that like button. I know it's a pain in the butt, but lots of times nobody hits it. I need your help to help the channel grow. It's slow motion, trying to get to 1,000 subs. I'd be nowhere if it wasn't for all of you, but please hit that like button. Help me out. I got a lot of giveaways planned if we get to 1,000. If we get to 1,000, I'm going to give some cash away. I'm going to give jerseys away. Maybe some tickets. Do a meet and greet. You know what I mean? Get an Airbnb next year down at the game. We can pay Achane $15 a year for 4 years. Is Achane gonna be all right with that? Achane might want $20 million a year because of what he does in the passing game. Greg says we need to keep on selling. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players on this team that we need to, definitely. It's crazy, but Rasul Douglas has played really good for us this year. Team's in need of a corner. If we could trade Rasul Douglas, I know he's dealing with an injury right now, but if we could trade Rasul Douglas, that's a win. That's a win for us. If you can trade Rasul Douglas and get a 3rd round pick for Rasul Douglas, that's a win. If you can trade Bradley Chubb and get a 3rd, 4th, that's a win. If you can trade Matthew Judon, that's a win. I like Rasul Douglas too, but let's be real, he's not part of the future of the Miami Dolphins. He is a 1-year rental. Rasul Douglas won't be back next year, Octane. Dolphin Don, I know people like Rasul, like I do too, but he is strictly a 1-year rental, folks. I wish we could trade Zach Sealer. I never listen. I know Zach was a great player for us. I was never in favor of giving Zach Sealer a contract extension. Never was, never was. That was a bad move. Zach Sealer is 30 years old. That's not where this franchise was. A-Chain's not the best running back in the AFC East. Joe, him and James Cook are very close. It's closer than what you think, brother. No, I'm not going to say H-Chain is. It's not easily Cook. It's not. It's not. Buffalo clearly has the better offensive line. They got a quarterback that is a threat. That's a real threat. H-Chain's not a gimmick back. Stop. H-Chain's a good bag, Joe. Stop it. H-Chain, if we gave him the offensive line of the Buffalo Bills and a quarterback like Josh Allen, H-Chain's having all the success that James Cook's having. James Cook's a very good running back. I'm not going to say H-Chan's better than James Cook, but I think H-Chan is just as good as James Cook. Maybe I give the nod to James Cook just by a bit, but he is still H-Chan is still a very, very good player. But I hope we continue to make moves. We need more capital to build this team. We have a lot of holes on this football team. We have a lot of holes. We need probably 3 corners. We need 3 starting caliber corners. We need another starting. The needs for this team are extensive. We need 3 starting corners. We need a starting safety, at least 1 starting safety. If we move on from Minka, that's 2 starting safeties. I think we need another outside linebacker. We need a couple more pieces on the defensive line. We need a right tackle at the very least on the offensive line and some depth. A right tackle and some depth. I'd say we need 2 wide receivers. And probably 2 tight ends. He's 108 yards a game, 5.7 yards per carry but he has Josh Allen that teams have to worry about, bro. You don't understand that Josh Allen, the worry and the fear of Josh Allen makes James Cook's job so much easier. The fact that Buffalo Bills have a top 10 offensive line make James Cook's job that much easier. I mean, if that's all you see, Joe out of HN is screenplays, I suggest you watch the games more closely. Because I think that's one of the weaker points of his game is the screen game. Allen rushes to it, doesn't. Yeah, so you gotta pick your poison. Does Allen got the ball or does Cook got the ball? I mean, half the defense is going with Allen because they think he got the ball. Cook get the run this way by himself. Cook and Taylor are on another level than the rest of the league. I mean, Indy's got one of the top offensive lines too. Jonathan Taylor could have been a Miami Dolphin if it wasn't for Chris Greer. We decided to choose Noah Ignagini instead. Regardless, I mean, Achane is a top 10 back in this league, in my opinion. If you don't agree, you don't agree. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. You know what I mean? If Joe, it doesn't have to be an excuse. There's a reasoning behind something. There's not an excuse. Just because you have reasons for something. If I'm a good cook and you're a bad cook, but I was taught to cook and you weren't taught to cook, that's not an excuse. It's a reason. It's a reason. But regardless, if he's not your cup of tea, he's not your cup of tea. It's cool. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. You know what I mean? If Joe doesn't think that Achane is that great of a player, I mean, that's the way he sees it. You know what I mean? Everybody sees the game of football differently anyway. You know what I mean? Everybody sees you could play the same play for 5 different people and they're all going to tell you something different about that play. But again, hey, some people don't love this player. Some people love that player, you know? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And I would agree that Achane's not a power back per se. I mean, I see him as a top 10 back in the league. And he's probably our best player right now. He's probably our best player right now. Make sure you hit them like buttons for me, please. We're going to be talking about the new head coach tomorrow. Tomorrow is the trade deadline. Who else goes? Me personally, if I had a wish list of people to go, I'd like to see John traded because he's not going to be here in the future. And I think that has a lot to do whether you trade someone or not. If you see him a part of the rebuild, if you see them as part of the future of the Miami Dolphins, if it's just strictly for this year, if they're just strictly a player on the team this year, you have to move on from them. You have to move on from him. Rasul Douglas, been great for us. But if we're able to trade Rasul Douglas, you got to make a trade for him. You got to trade him away. Because he's not a part of the future of the Miami Dolphins. He's just not. He's just not. Matthew Judon's not going to be here next year. So you go and you get something for him if you can. Timothy, I said it before, if Darren Waller got hurt, that, hey, maybe we should think about trading Waller, and then he got hurt right after that. We could have probably got a third for Waller. So you got Rasul Douglas, I'd trade. Matthew Judon, I'd trade. Bradley Chubb's not going to be here next year. I would trade him. And then you got to look at other players on this roster that, do you want to keep them or you want to move on from them? A lot of people aren't talking about Jordan Brooks. Are we going to give this guy a new contract or do you trade him? I think he's the leading tackler in the NFL right now. I like Jordan Brooks. I think he's probably the best middle linebacker we've had here since Zach Thomas. But if we're not going to give the guy a new contract, and if he's not a part of the future, you got to consider trading him. Minka, I would consider trading. I don't know what it would do to the salary cap, but Minka's not happy here. You can tell by the look on his face every time he does an interview. He's not happy here. this is the beginning of the rebuild, folks. And it's sad to see Jalen Phillips go. I wish him well. And, you know, I would love for him to be able to come back at the end of the year on a team-friendly deal. And we were just able to gain a third rounder. Is that possible? Yeah. Is it likely? No. It's not likely. But yeah, tomorrow, folks, we're gonna talk about the next head coach of the Miami Dolphins, who I would really like to see. And we're going to talk about a little more about the trade deadline, what moves have been made around the NFL, what moves we still think. There'll be a lot of rumors between today and tomorrow. Make sure you hit that like button for me. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit notifications. What else was I going to say? Man, oh man. JJ McCarthy, that boy wins games. If he can stay healthy, he'll be a really good quarterback. This NFL season has been a whirlwind. You know, you can't predict any game. Any game that you think is a lock, you don't really have a clue. You know, you never know what's going to happen between the Panthers beating the Packers yesterday, Minnesota beating Detroit. Just, man, oh man. Washington, I thought they were going to be a top team. Jaden Daniels is out now. We play Jaden Daniels here in a few short weeks overseas. A lot of stuff going on. Crazy NFL season, folks. Crazy NFL season. But I will see you tomorrow. I love you. I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share, do all those things. I appreciate you. And you know what it is. Fins up, baby. Peace.
Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Fin Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami heat blazing. We scorching the floor. You know the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squad's the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.